Hi, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to ASMR Movie Recaps. We bring you full size entertainment in a shorter time so you can spend more time with your loved ones. We hope you are doing okay today and also for the rest of the week. Spoilers ahead. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and stay positive. While watching the recap, do subscribe and hit the notification button so you'll get notified to enjoy our next movie recap. Thanks a million for your support. Let's begin. The movie starts with a thick guy dancing happily in the boys' locker room. His name is Robbie. Without him knowing, a bunch of kids catch him doing it. This incident coincided with the farewell party of Central High School, which they were celebrating at the basketball court. A student named Calvin was named Student of the Year, and the principal also considers Calvin as his favorite student. Calvin was so happy he did a backflip. After showing off his moves, Calvin went on motivating the other students. Suddenly, they were all shocked when Robbie was thrown into the hall stark naked by the kids who saw him in the locker room. Everyone there laughed at Robbie except for Calvin. Calvin, who felt sorry for Robbie, gave his jacket to cover himself. Robbie then shamefully left the hall. Calvin felt that the incident was too outrageous. The movie then skips 10 years into the future. Calvin works in a company where he serves as an accountant. When Calvin was working, he happened to see a Facebook group that invited him to go to an alumni reunion. After that, a notification appeared, a friend request with the name of Bob Stone. Upon confirming the friend request, Calvin got a call from his wife, informing him that his school was going to hold a reunion. While answering the phone, Calvin got inboxed by Bob Stone. This guy turned out to be Robbie. Bob then asked Calvin to meet up at a cafe. Calvin is very surprised and can't believe that he has now turned into this muscular guy. Apparently, some women were also into him and even started a conversation. When Bob is having some drinks, there's a group of guys who take his chair. Kevin forbade it and said that the chair belonged to his friend, which led to an argument. Those guys even threatened him with a gun they were carrying. Bob then came and a fight broke out. Kevin was very surprised that Bob is now a badass and great at martial arts. After a long walk, they arrive at Calvin's house. Bob asks a favor for Calvin to check out this international financial situation that he is stuck in. So Calvin checks out the online report that Bob was referring to. It turns out to be an auction site and the bid comes from all over the world. The amount was hundreds of millions of dollars. The auction was to end in 14 hours or tomorrow. Bob spilled the bottle of beer near the laptop and broke it. Bob, who didn't bring a change of clothes, borrowed Calvin's pajamas. The next morning, when Calvin was about to head to work, he saw Bob was still sleeping, and the room was very messy. Someone knocked on the door, and Calvin was shocked by a group of CIA agents led by an agent named Harris, and were looking for a fugitive by the name of Bob Stone. He didn't think long. Calvin immediately said that the person currently is sleeping in his house. But when they went in and looked for Bob, he had disappeared and the room was neatly arranged. Of course, this shocked Calvin. Harris told Calvin that Bob used to be a member of the CIA. He went rogue while on a mission and tried to sell classified state secrets to the enemy. Harris mentions that this will spark a huge geopolitical effect, a very serious threat to the country. Bob is also considered to have killed his colleague named Phil to erase his tracks. Harris asked Calvin to set up a trap for Bob. After a while, Bob called. He said that he needs Calvin's help. He also says that he is currently downstairs. Knowing this, the agents rush outside to get Bob. When Calvin returned to his room, he was surprised by Bob, that was waiting there. Calvin was confused and wondering what was really happening. Bob tells him that he needs Calvin's help, but Calvin refuses because he thinks that Bob is a bad guy. Calvin went out and shouted loud that Bob was in his room with a gun. This caused shots to be fired. Bob forces Calvin to go with him, and they run away from that place. While driving away, Bob tells Calvin that there is a bad guy called the Black Badger. This person has secret information wanted by the enemy. Bob says that he wants to catch the Black Badger. Before continuing, they went to remove the GPS from the car. Bob then tells Calvin that his colleague, Phil, was killed by the Black Badger.
Save him.
While they are talking, one of the FBI agents attacks them by riding a motorbike. Pierre managed to catch Bob, while Calvin managed to escape by stealing the motorbike. When Calvin arrived at his house, Harris was already there. In the van, Harris reiterates that Bob was a CIA agent, but then betrayed the agency, and that he has stolen the codes by killing. He then gives him a tracking device, so he can inform them if Bob ever contacted Calvin again. After that, Calvin is released. Calvin's wife, Maggie, is consulting with an obstetrician because they haven't been blessed with any children. When Calvin joined the meeting, he found that the doctor was Bob in disguise. Calvin immediately asks her to leave the place, but Maggie tells him to be quiet and continue the consultation. Bob continued the act. After they finished, they found out that the real doctor was tied behind the door. Soon after, they go to the water district. They go there because the codes can only be accessed by international financial companies, and coincidentally, one of their friends works in one. That person turned out to be Trevor, one of the guys that bullied Bob back in school. They asked for Trevor's help to see the transaction details from the reports. Before telling them the information, though, Trevor once more bullies Bob, but he just sits there and stays silent, reliving his past, which is very displeasing or embarrassing. Calvin ordered Bob to do something about it, but Bob chose to do nothing and instead left that place. When Calvin is trying to catch Bob, Harris calls. She said that she will put his wife as Bob's conspirator if he doesn't cooperate to catch Bob. Calvin caught up to Bob and apologized for Trevor's behavior. He also said that he doesn't fully trust Bob yet. Bob then explained that he was not the bad guy. All of a sudden, agents came surrounding them. Turns out that Calvin had pressed the tracking button on the device given by Harris earlier. They brought Bob and locked him up in a secure room. Harris then tried to dig up some information about the secret encrypted code that Bob retrieved, but Bob said nothing. This made Harris go the hard way and hurts Bob's fingers one at a time until he talks. Because Calvin felt sorry for Bob, he tries to free Bob until finally a fight broke out in which they escaped. In the car, Calvin inputs the information given by Trevor to the CIA's GPS gadget. The location then shows up. It's in Boston. Because Boston was quite far away, they left using the plane they had stolen. While still up in the air, Bob turned off the plane's engine to scare Calvin. He got him to say his biggest regret, and that is not being able to have children with his wife. When they arrived, Bob tells Calvin to wait there while Bob goes to the location of the transaction, which will probably be done in the underground parking area. Turned out that Harris somehow already knew about that location. He is now suspected by Calvin to be the Black Badger. While Bob is making an offer with the bad guys, Calvin opens the door and he's about to say that Harris is the Black Badger, but Bob immediately shoots Calvin. Bob went and continued the transaction until suddenly Phil showed up. He is still alive and sorted out that he is the real Black Badger, and he also holds the real data codes the bad guys wanted. Phil also mentioned that the data in Bob's hand is fake, so it turns out that Phil deliberately faked his death so that he could sell the secret data for himself. Behind the door, Calvin got up. The bullet was only scraping his neck, not a fatal injury. This got Calvin confused. Who exactly was the Black Badger? Harris and some agents came to the place, and guns went blazing. Knowing the USB containing the secret information was on the ground, Kevin went and got it The bad guy who saw this went after Calvin. Luckily, Bob was there to save him before he was hit with a car. Calvin, who still doesn't trust Bob, tried to escape. Bob successfully followed him. Phil is also already in the same location. Calvin, who is still confused by which one was the bad guy, got caught up in a shootout. When Bob and Phil was in the fight, Calvin shot Bob because he still suspected that Bob is the original Black Badger. But it turned out that the Black Badger was actually Phil. He deliberately created the name Black Badger so he can get away with millions of dollars. Then Calvin attempted a somersault, but failed. Little did Phil know it was a distraction, so that Bob was able to grab Phil from the back and pull Phil's throat. After Bob apologized to Calvin for shooting him, all of that was done because he didn't want to harm Calvin. The scene moved to when Bob and Calvin were escorted to the reunion with a special helicopter. Harris apologized to Bob for accusing him of being a traitor. In the reunion, everybody was surprised because the new homecoming king was Bob Stone. All of them were confused. Who is Bob Stone? While Bob was walking on the stage, Trevor shows up and tries to humiliate Bob once more in front of everybody. This time, Bob was able to punch Trevor and knocked him out cold. On the stage, Bob went out delivering an inspiring speech about surviving bullies, being yourself, and be the best that you can be. He then rips his clothes off and gets naked in front of everybody. Finally, he dropped the mic. Someone came to Bob, and it turned out that she was the girl he used to like, Darla, and it seems like it's gonna be a serious relationship between them. That's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed the movie recap. Do subscribe for more videos like this and also hit the like button. It might feel simple, but it will really help us out a lot. Thanks for your support. Also, leave a comment. What do you think about the story, and which scene catch your attention the most? See you in the next one. Take care.